Earvin Magic Johnson Jr., born August 14, 1959, is an American retired professional basketball player and former president of basketball operations of the Los Angeles Lakers of the National Basketball Association, NBA. He played point guard for the Lakers for 13 seasons. After winning championships in high school and college, Johnson was selected first overall in the 1979 NBA draft by the Lakers. He won a championship and an NBA Finals Most Valuable Player award in his rookie season, and won 4 more championships with the Lakers during the 1980s. Johnson retired abruptly in 1991 after announcing that he had contracted HIV, but returned to play in the 1992 All-Star Game, winning the All-Star MVP award. After protests from his fellow players, he retired again for 4 years, but returned in 1996, at age 36, to play 32 games for the Lakers before retiring for the third and final time. Johnson's career achievements include 3 NBA MVP awards, 9 NBA Finals appearances, 12 All-Star games, and 10 All-NBA first and second team nominations. He led the league in regular season assists 4 times, and is the NBA's all-time leader in average assists per game, at 11.2. 2. Johnson was a member of the 1992 United States men's Olympic basketball team, the Dream Team, which won the Olympic gold medal in 1992. After leaving the NBA in 1992, Johnson formed the Magic Johnson All-Stars, a barnstorming team that traveled around the world playing exhibition games. 3. Johnson was honored as one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history in 1996. Johnson became a 2-time inductee into the Basketball Hall of Fame, being enshrined in 2002 for his individual career, and again in 2010 as a member of the Dream Team. 4. He was rated the greatest NBA point guard of all time by ESPN in 2007. 5. His friendship and rivalry with Boston Celtics star Larry Bird, whom he faced in the 1979 NCAA Finals and 3 NBA Championship Series, are well documented. Since his retirement, Johnson has been an advocate for HIV/AIDS prevention and safe sex, 4, as well as an entrepreneur, 6, philanthropist, 7, broadcaster and motivational speaker. 8. His public announcement of his HIV-positive status in 1991 helped dispel the stereotype, still widely held at the time, that HIV was a gay disease that heterosexuals need not worry about. His bravery in making this announcement was widely commended. 9. Named by Ebony magazine as one of America's most influential black businessmen in 2009. 10. Johnson has numerous business interests, and was a part owner of the Lakers for several years. Johnson also is part of a group of investors that purchased the Los Angeles Dodgers in 2012 and the Los Angeles Sparks in 2014. 11. Earvin Johnson Jr. was born in Lansing, Michigan, the son of General Motors assembly worker Earvin Sr. and school janitor Christine. 12. Johnson, who had 6 siblings, and 3 half-siblings by his father's previous marriage, 13, 14, 15, was influenced by his parents' strong work ethic. His mother spent many hours after work each night cleaning their home and preparing the next day's meals, while his father did janitorial work at a used car lot and collected garbage, all while never missing a day at General Motors. Johnson would often help his father on the garbage route, and he was teased by neighborhood children who called him Garbage Man. 16. Johnson came to love basketball as a young man. His favorite basketball player was Bill Russell, whom he admired more for his many championships than his athletic ability. 17. He also idolized players such as Earl Monroe and Marx Haynes, 18, and practiced all day. 4. Johnson came from an athletic family. His father played high school basketball in his home state of Mississippi, 19, and Johnson learned the finer points about the game from him. Johnson's mother, originally from North Carolina, 19, had also played basketball as a child, and she grew up watching her brothers play the game. 17. By the time he had reached the 8th grade, Johnson had begun to think about a future in basketball. He had become a dominant junior high player, once scoring 48 points in a game. 14. Johnson looked forward to playing at Sexton High School, a school with a very successful basketball team and history that also happened to be only 5 blocks from his home. His plans underwent a dramatic change when he learned that he would be bused to the predominantly white Everett High School instead of going to Sexton, 1720, which was predominantly black. 1421, Johnson's sister Pearl and his brother Larry had bused to Everett the previous year and did not have a pleasant experience. There were incidents of racism, with rocks being thrown at buses carrying black students and white parents refusing to send their children to school. Larry was kicked off the basketball team after a confrontation during practice, prompting him to beg his brother not to play. Johnson did join the basketball team but became angry after several days when his new teammates ignored him during practice, not even passing the ball to him. He nearly got into a fight with another player before head coach George Fox intervened. Eventually, Johnson accepted his situation and the small group of black students looked to him as their leader. 14. When recalling the events in his autobiography, My Life, he talked about how his time at Everett had changed him. As I look back on it today, I see the whole picture very differently. It's true that I hated missing out on Sexton. And the first few months, I was miserable at Everett. But being bused to Everett turned out to be one of the best things that ever happened to me. It got me out of my own little world and taught me how to understand white people, how to communicate and deal with them. 14. Johnson was first dubbed Magic as a 15-year-old sophomore playing for Everett High School, when he recorded a triple-double of 36 points, 18 rebounds, and 16 assists. 4. After the game, Fred Stabley Jr., a sports writer for the Lansing State Journal, gave him the moniker 22, despite the belief of Johnson's mother, a Christian, that the name was sacrilegious. 4. In his final high school season, Johnson led Everett to a 27-1 win-loss record while averaging 28.8 points and 16.8 rebounds per game. 4. And took his team to an overtime victory in the state championship game. 23. Johnson dedicated the championship victory to his best friend Reggie Chastain, who was killed in a car accident the previous summer. 24. He gave Chastain much of the credit for his development as a basketball player and as a person. 25. Saying years later, I doubted myself back then. 26. Johnson and Chastain were almost always together, playing basketball or riding around in Chastain's car. 16. Upon learning of Chastain's death, Magic ran from his home, crying uncontrollably. 26. Johnson, who finished his high school career with 2 All-State selections, was considered at the time to be the best high school player ever to come out of Michigan. 24, and was also named to the 1977 McDonald's All-American team. 27. Although Johnson was recruited by several top-ranked colleges such as Indiana and UCLA, he decided to play close to home. 28. His college decision came down to Michigan and Michigan State in East Lansing. He ultimately decided to attend Michigan State when coach Judd Heathcote told him he could play the point guard position. The talent already on Michigan State's roster also drew him to the program. 29. Johnson did not initially aspire to play professionally, focusing instead on his communication studies major and on his desire to become a television commentator. 30. Playing with future NBA draftees Greg Kelser, Jay Vincent, and Mike Brkovich, Johnson averaged 17.0 points, 7.9 rebounds, and 7.4 assists per game as a freshman, and led the Spartans to a 25-5 record, the Big Ten Conference title, and a berth in the 1978 NCAA tournament. 4. The Spartans reached the Elite Eight, but lost narrowly to eventual national champion Kentucky. 31. During the 1978-79 season, Michigan State again qualified for the NCAA tournament, where they advanced to the championship game and faced Indiana State, which was led by senior Larry Bird. In what was the most watched college basketball game ever, 32, Michigan State defeated Indiana State 75-64, and Johnson was voted most outstanding player of the Final Four. 23, he was selected to the 1978-79 All-American team for his performance that season. 33, after 2 years in college, during which he averaged 17.1 points, 7.6 rebounds, and 7.9 assists per game, Johnson entered the 1979 NBA draft. 34. Judd Heathcote stepped down as coach of the Spartans after the 1994-95 season, and on June 8, 1995, Johnson returned to the Breslin Center to play in the Judd Heathcote All-Star Tribute Game. He led all scorers with 39 points. 35.